In recent weeks, Donald Trump has addressed the idea that he might end up in prison, and he has told his supporters and his donors that, hey, if I do that, I'm going to be a modern-day Nelson Mandela. He's acted like going to jail is totally not a big deal, and if anything, it's just going to make him even more popular, because then he will be a martyr for the MAGA cause. Well, all of that bravado was kind of thrown out the window this week when Donald Trump got on Truth Social and whined about the fact that he might end up going to jail. See, before I read you Trump's quote, let me just explain something for Donald Trump here. If you're going to act like something's not a big deal and would actually help you and something that maybe you even want because you want to be a martyr, you can't turn around and whine about it a couple days later because that, makes you seem a little flip-floppy here. But this is what Donald Trump put on Truth Social this week. The White House thugs should not be allowed to have these dangerous and unfair Biden trials during my campaign for president. All of them, civil and criminal, could have been brought more than 3 years ago. It is an illegal attack on a political opponent. It is communism at its worst and election interference at its best. No such thing has ever happened in our country before. On Monday, I will be forced to sit gagged before a highly conflicted and corrupt judge whose hatred for me has no bounds. All of these New York and D.C. judges and prosecutors have the same mindset. Nobody but this Soros prosecutor Alvin Bragg wanted to take this ridiculous case. All legal scholars say it's a sham. Biden's DOJ is running the case. Just think of it. These animals want to put the former president of the United States, who got more votes than any sitting president, and the party's Republican candidate in jail for doing absolutely nothing wrong. It is a rush to the finish. So unfair. Oh my God. I don't even know where to start with debunking all of the lies in that. Like, Biden is not directing any of this. The DOJ is not involved in this in any way. This is a local prosecutor, an elected official in the state of New York that has no connection to President Biden, no connection to the White House, no connection to the Department of Justice. So Donald Trump is just lying his face off with this claim. Also, so unfair, right? That's how he ended it. So unfair. And I love that the reporter at Mediaite actually said this. So unfair are the petulant words one typically hears from a tired or hungry toddler, and not that of a former president running for his second term, but here we are. And I agree with that completely. These are the words of a whiny, petulant individual. I did nothing wrong. Well, then prove it in court. Like, that's what the trial's about. You get your day in court. And you're going to sit there gagged, as you say, and as humorous as that would be to actually see, that's not what's happening. All the gag is that you can't personally attack people in the courtroom with the exception of the judge and the prosecutor, except you can't go after the judge or the prosecutor's family members. Other than that, you can say whatever the hell you want. So you are not actually gagged, okay? You're not going to be sitting there with one of those little GIMP masks on, unable to say things. You're going to be able to talk. You're going to be able to present your evidence. You're going to be able to call your witnesses. This is your day in court. And if you didn't do anything wrong, prove it to the jury and they'll acquit you. But if you thought you could do that, you wouldn't be freaking out right now about the prospect of going to jail. And no, for the record, they could not have brought these cases 3 years ago. Most of them hadn't even finished their investigations up until about 1.5 years ago. Then they brought the charges. Then, of course, your idiot lawyers file motion after motion after motion after motion, attempting to delay. If anything, you should be pissed off at yourself for your trials happening right now, because we could have gotten almost all of these out of the way last year if you and your lawyers hadn't delayed them so much.